North Oaks Hospital. Once a beacon of hope, now a decaying husk. Locals whispered of a tragedy, a fire, many lives lost. Now, silence, except for the wind whistling through broken windows. Or was it? My name is Jake, college student, easily persuaded. My friends dared me spend a night in North Oaks, alone. They laughed. I shivered, but couldn't seem weak. So I agreed. Stupid, I know. Nightfall. I stood before the imposing entrance. Metal gates rusted shut. The air grew cold, heavier. My heart pounded in my chest. With a deep breath, I slipped through a broken window. The smell hit me first. Stale air. Decay. Something else? Metallic? Each step echoed in the vast emptiness. The air grew colder. My breath formed clouds in the beam of my flashlight. The silence was deafening, broken only by the creaking of the building. Or was it the building? My hand trembled, gripping the flashlight tighter. A flicker of movement at the end of the hallway. It was subtle, almost imperceptible, but enough to catch my attention. The dim lighting of the hospital corridor made it difficult to discern what exactly I was seeing. Was it a trick of the light, or was there really someone there? My mind raced with possibilities, each more unsettling than the last. The silence of the hallway was deafening, amplifying the sound of my own heartbeat. My heart leaped into my throat. The rhythmic beeping of the heart rate monitor seemed to sync with my escalating fear. I could feel the blood pounding in my ears, drowning out any rational thought. My eyes widened, straining to see through the darkness, to make sense of the shadowy figure that seemed to be watching me. Every instinct screamed at me to run, but my legs felt like they were made of lead. I froze, holding my breath. The air felt thick, almost suffocating as I stood there paralyzed by fear. Time seemed to stretch, each second feeling like an eternity. I could hear the faint hum of the hospital's fluorescent lights, the distant murmur of voices from other rooms, but all of it felt far away. As if I were in a bubble of silence and dread, my mind raced, trying to decide what to do next. The figure moved again, disappearing into a room. Adrenaline surged through me. Fight or flight? The question echoed in my mind, but my body refused to move. The shadowy figure's sudden disappearance left me with more questions than answers. What were they doing here? Why were they hiding? The unknown was terrifying, but it also sparked a dangerous curiosity within me. I had to know more, even if it meant putting myself at risk. Curiosity, or perhaps stupidity, won. I took a tentative step forward, my body trembling with a mix of fear and determination. Each step felt like a monumental effort, my senses on high alert for any sign of danger. The closer I got to the dark doorway, the more my mind conjured up images of what might be lurking within. But I couldn't turn back now. I had to see this through, no matter the cost. I crept forward, each step echoing my fear. The sound of my footsteps seemed to reverberate through the empty corridor, amplifying the tension that hung in the air. I could feel the cold linoleum floor beneath my feet, the chill seeping through my shoes and into my bones. With each step, the doorway loomed larger, a gaping maw of darkness that threatened to swallow me whole. But I couldn't stop now. I had to know what lay beyond. The door creaked open, revealing an operating room. The air was thick with the scent of decay and neglect, a stark reminder of the room's long-forgotten past. The walls, once sterile and white, were now stained with the passage of time, their paint peeling away like the memories of the countless surgeries that had taken place here. Rusted surgical tools lay scattered on a tray. Each instrument, once a beacon of hope and healing, now stood as a testament to the room's abandonment. The scalpels, forceps, and scissors, all covered in a thick layer of dust, seemed to whisper tales of the lives they had touched, both saved and lost. A lone operating table sat in the center, illuminated by the moonlight filtering through a broken window. The table, with its cracked leather and rusted metal, was a ghostly reminder of the countless hours of surgery it had witnessed. The moonlight cast eerie shadows, making the room feel even more haunted. A chill ran down my spine. The silence was deafening, broken only by the occasional creak of the old building settling. Every step I took echoed through the room, amplifying the sense of isolation and dread. The goosebumps on my skin were a physical manifestation of the fear that gripped me. I felt a presence, cold and menacing. It was as if the room itself was alive, watching my every move. The shadows seemed to dance and shift, creating the illusion of figures lurking just out of sight. My heart raced, and I couldn't shake the feeling that I was not alone in this forsaken place. I stepped closer, drawn to the operating table. My blood ran cold. Scratched into the metal surface, a message, "Get out!" Below it, a bloody handprint. Panic surged through me. This was no game, this place was truly haunted. As I turned to flee, the door slammed shut. A cold laugh echoed through the room. I was trapped. My heart hammered against my ribs. I rattled the doorknob, but it wouldn't budge. Terror, raw and consuming, washed over me. I was going to die here. Suddenly, silence. The door stood ajar. The dim light from the hallway cast eerie shadows on the walls, making the room feel even more oppressive. I could hear the faint hum of the hospital's machinery, a constant reminder of the place I was in. The air was thick with the scent of antiseptic mingling with the faint, almost imperceptible smell of something decaying. It was a place that seemed to exist outside of time, where the normal rules of reality didn't apply. Had I imagined it all? The strange noises, the fleeting shadows, the feeling of being watched? My mind was a whirlwind of confusion and fear. Every creak of the floorboards, every distant murmur seemed to be amplified, echoing in my ears like a sinister symphony. I tried to convince myself that it was all in my head, that the stress and exhaustion were playing tricks on me, but deep down, I knew that something was terribly wrong. My mind raced, questioning everything. Was it the medication, the lack of sleep, or was there something more sinister at play? I felt like I was losing my grip on reality, like I was teetering on the edge of a precipice, about to fall into an abyss of madness. I could feel my heart pounding in my chest, each beat a painful reminder of my own vulnerability. I needed to get out of there, to escape the suffocating atmosphere of the hospital. I stumbled out of the room, fleeing into the night. The corridor stretched out before me, a seemingly endless tunnel of darkness. My footsteps echoed off the walls, a frantic rhythm that matched the pounding of my heart. I could feel the cold, sterile air of the hospital clinging to my skin, a constant reminder of the place I was trying to escape. I didn't know where I was going, only that I needed to get as far away as possible. The hospital loomed behind me, a dark and sinister silhouette against the moonlit sky. It seemed to watch me with a malevolent gaze, as if it were a living entity that didn't want to let me go. The moon cast an eerie glow over the building, highlighting its cold, unfeeling architecture. I could feel the weight of its presence bearing down on me, a constant reminder of the horrors I had witnessed within its walls. I never looked back, but the experience, the terror, the feeling of being watched, it never left me. Every shadow seemed to hide a lurking threat, every whisper carried a hint of menace. I could feel the eyes of the hospital on me, even from miles away. It was as if a part of me had been trapped there, left behind to wander the dark corridors forever. The fear had become a part of me, a constant companion that I could never escape. To this day, I can't shake the feeling that I left a part of myself behind in that godforsaken place. The memories haunt me, creeping into my thoughts when I least expect it. I see the hospital in my dreams, its dark corridors stretching out before me, an endless maze of fear and despair. I can still hear the faint hum of the machinery, the distant whispers that seem to come from nowhere. It's a place that will always be a part of me, a shadow that I can never escape.